Gebirgsjäger were the elite mountain infantry troops of the German army. During World War II, the German army raised a number of mountain infantry units, identified by the Edelweiss insignia worn on their sleeves and caps. These divisions were lightly equipped, with much of the transport provided by mules. They were equipped with fewer automatic weapons than regular infantry, however the machine gunners were provided with more ammunition than their regular infantry counterparts. Special equipment was made for them, including pack howitzers, mountain howitzers, and mountain guns. The German mountain infantry participated in many campaigns, including Silver Fox, Platinum Fox, Arctic Fox, and Northern Lights. They also served in the Caucasus, the invasion of Crete, the Balkans, the Gothic Line, and the battles in the Vosges region of France. The 1st Mountain Division was created on the 9th of April, 1938 in Garmisch-Partenkirchen. The division consisted mainly of Bavarians and some Austrians. Their most interesting mission was to conquer Europe's highest mountain in 1942. On July 23, 1942, Hitler issued Directive 45 for an eccentric attack on the Caucasus and Stalingrad. Hitler wanted to achieve both goals simultaneously. This led to a fragmentation of forces that resulted in disaster at Stalingrad and in the Caucasus. The attack on the Caucasus was assigned to Army Group A under the command of Field Marshal List. The aim of the operation was to cross the Caucasus, seize the oil fields of Azerbaijan, and occupy the entire eastern coast of the Black Sea, thereby knocking out the Soviet Black Sea Fleet. Army Group A included the 1st and 4th Mountain Division. In mid-August 1942, members of these divisions fought their way up to the high passes in the Caucasus around Elbrus. While the 1st Division was deployed towards the military road to Sukhumi, the 4th Division penetrated directly through the high Caucasus. The advancing mountain thinkers looked up to the unmistakable landmark of the Caucasus, Mount Elbrus. Mount Elbrus is the highest mountain in Russia and Europe. It is situated in the western part of the Caucasus and is the highest peak of the Caucasus Mountains. The dormant volcano rises 5,642 meters above sea level. It is the highest stratovolcano in Eurasia and the 10th most prominent peak in the world. The mountain stands in southern Russia, in the Russian Republic of Kabardino-Balkaria. Elbrus is situated in the northwest of the Caucasus, 100 kilometers from the Black Sea and 370 kilometers from the Caspian Sea, which is visible from Elbrus on exceptionally clear days. It rises 5,642 meters above the sea level. Located 11 kilometers north of the Greater Caucasus watershed, marking the border with Georgia, it is on the border of the Russian republics of Kabardino-Balkaria and Karachay-Cherkessia. It is the highest peak in both Russia and Europe. Elbrus is located 65 kilometers southwest of the city of Kislovodsk and 80 kilometers west-southwest of Nalchik. The ascent of Elbrus is not technically difficult. However, due to the altitude and long ascent, it requires good physical fitness, aided by acclimatization. Sudden weather changes, associated with freezing blizzards and tens of centimeters of fresh snow, can make it a risky affair. On August 14, 1942, mountain infantry soldiers from Captain Groth's reconnaissance company crossed the Chachutau Pass and had in sight the Elbrus House, an aluminium-covered mountain hut built in 1939 by the tourist agency Interest for Westerners interested in climbing Elbrus. Now the hut served as a barracks for Soviet Highland troops. The 54th Mountain Reconnaissance Battalion sent a patrol there, which stationed itself on the rocks around the hut. Soon after, Groth, far ahead of his company, climbed alone into the hut, where the Russians captured him. He made an agreement with them that they were free to leave if they handed over the building and its associated weather station to him. Whoever wants to stay can stay. This valuable foothold thus fell into German hands without a shot being fired. The large building offered accommodation for more than 100 men and a large supply of provisions and clothing. Groth's men immediately secured the station and made their first unsuccessful attempt to reach the summit on August 19, due to the deteriorating weather. Even then, the weather was not in the men's favor, but their courage paid off. With a maximum effort, a combined group of 8 men from the 1st and 4th raised the German war flag and the flags of both divisions at 11 a.m. on 21 August, 1942. According to the recollections of Albert Speer, Hitler fell into states of rage quite often, but rarely did he explode as he did upon receiving news of the Elbrus ascent. He raged for hours as if the event had ruined the entire plan for the summer campaign. Even in the following days he persistently cursed those crazy climbers who belong in a court-martial. He indignantly claimed that in the midst of the war they had succumbed to their idiotic ambition and climbed that idiotic peak, even though he had ordered that everything must be concentrated on the advance to Sukhumi. Here, however, we can clearly see how his orders are being carried out. General Hubert Lanz, commander of the 1st Mountain Division, had a different view of the matter. In his study of the field campaign into Russia, he commented, "The idea of the 1st Mountain Division Command was to satisfy the self-evident ambition of the German mountain troops in raising the flag on the highest mountain in Europe, which, after all, was only carried out by one small unit. Of considerable tactical importance, however, was the capture of the Elbrus house at 4,200 meters, serving as a military strongpoint with a Russian garrison of about 80 men, from which it was possible to control the approaches from the Elbrus glacier over the Dongosoren, Assau and Nacker passes to the south and southwest to the Klitschko Valley, and thus the outcropping of the mountains toward Sukhumi." So Mr. Hitler was not quite in the picture. While the German war flag was flying in a blizzard on Elbrus, and Hitler, in the circle of his confidants, thousands of miles from the Caucasus, was grumbling about the senselessness of climbing the mountain hunters were advancing through the valleys towards the passes, with the aim of crossing the mighty mound of rock and ice and conquering part of Asia in accordance with orders. Rumors arose on the Soviet side about the conquest of Elbrus, including the successful bombing of the Elbrus hut. In reality, only the fuel depot below the hut was hit. It remained in German hands until early January 1943. Due to bad weather, the Soviets managed to remove the German flag from the top of Elbrus only in February. After the war, General Lanz was tried for war crimes and convicted specifically for several atrocities committed by units under his command in the Balkans. Ultimately, Lanz was sentenced to 12 years imprisonment, a comparatively light sentence compared with other commanders involved with operations in the Balkans. Released in 1951, he joined the Liberal Free Democratic Party and served as its advisor on military and security issues. In 1954, he published a book on the history of the 1st Mountain Division. He died in Munich in 1982. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and to make sure you don't miss my future work, please make sure you are subscribed to my channel and press the bell notification button. Thank you and see you in the next video.